So good morning friends, welcome to Raj Malhotra IAS. So guys, here we are about to start the session. The PDF for today's session has already been uploaded on our Telegram group. You can download the PDF from there. You can download the PDF from there. The PDF has already been uploaded on our Telegram group. We are here to start the session. Okay. So just give me a minute. The session will be started within 1 minute itself. Okay, the PDF for today's session has already been uploaded. You can download the PDF from there. So here we are connected and live. Sufficient number of people have already joined us. So Anshul, Pooja, Vicky, Sakshi, Divyansh, Nandini, Vaibhav, Yamandeep, Defense Yodha, good morning. So we are here to start. Sufficient number of people have already joined us. Okay, so let's start the session then without wasting much time. So just give me a minute. So here we are going to start with this particular statement by Dalai Lama. So he's saying that the true hero is the one who conquers his own anger and hatred. See, your anger, your hatred, okay, that needs to be controlled. Why I am saying this? Because when we are hating someone, it is not going to bring anything good to us. It is not going to bring anything good to us. Okay, so we will end up just wasting our time. You will end up wasting your time, your energy, and we know that we all have limited time in our life. Okay, so we just can't keep on wasting our time and energy on, you can say, on things that are not required in our life. So you need to focus upon, okay, yourself rather than hating someone, because it is going to divert your attention. It is going to divert your attention. This is the reason why we need to look upon these areas, that instead of hating someone, like, we should forgive them. And forgiving is one of the important, you can say, virtue, because you are going to feel satisfied after that. Okay, all the bad feelings and all those things will be gone. So this is the way out through which you can control your hatred and anger. Now there is a counter side to this. Okay, so there is a counter side to this. Now counter side says that if we are angry and if we have emotional intelligence to control our anger, okay, if we are angry and if we have emotional intelligence to control our anger, then that anger can be, means that anger will produce energy. So energy produced by that anger, it can be channelized. Okay, it can be channelized in a positive way. I hope you remember Yuvraj Singh hitting 6 sixes. Okay, आपको मालूम होगा, because he was made angry by the Flintoff. Andrew Flintoff made him angry, and the outcome was that he ended up hitting 6 sixes in 1 over. Same is the case with Virat Kohli. Now you must have seen him. He is quite, you can say, aggressive individual. So that aggression, that energy that he is getting, he is channelizing that energy into his scores. So in this way, anger has some positive connotation as well. Other example of positive connotation is this Nirbhaya movement. Okay, after that Nirbhaya incident, all of us were angry. All of us were angry, and our anger was quite visible. That led to the change in the law. That led to the that led to the change in the system. Okay, this is what it is about. This is what it is about. So you should know how to control yourself. It's all about control. It's all about control. So here we will move to the next news, that is there. PM Lords states for cooperative federalism in fighting against the COVID-19. So this is what is there, and Niti Aayog governing council discuss the crop diversification and other issues. Okay, now you should be knowing this thing, like this Niti Aayog governing council, it is one of the example of cooperative federalism. So cooperative federalism primarily means that your states and your union, they are working as a team. So this team is necessary for the development of Indian people. Okay, when state and union, they are fighting with each other, if they end up fighting with each other, the major outcome of that will be poor governance. Okay, as we have seen in the multiple areas, the governance will majorly be impacted. So it is really important that they need to work as a team, but it is very, very difficult. Okay, it is very difficult to the sense that basically the political differences come into the picture. We know that we have party politics in this country, and particle political differences, they create trouble in, you can say, in the functioning of center state relations. We have seen it multiple times. Other point is this: the union has this tendency to control the states. Union always try to control states through different measures, such as using governor. Okay, so that should be avoided, because if this is being done, agar aisa kiya ja raha hai, then definitely the outcome will be, there will not be any cooperative federalism. Forget about cooperative federalism then. Okay, there will not be any cooperative federalism. And there are multiple examples where you can say cooperative federalism is quite working. So GST council is one of the example where state and union both are present and they are working fine. In the same way, here we have Niti Aayog governing council. Okay, so Niti Aayog governing council is also an example of cooperative federalism, where state and the union, they are coming together, they are discussing things, and collectively they are coming out with the decisions. This is what is you have to understand as a cooperative federalism. Now, while fighting against the COVID, definitely health is a state list subject. Okay, health is a state list subject. So union could have been completely, you can say, kept itself away from this issue. Union would have said that okay, it's not my concern, why should we help now? But they worked as a team, and somehow, to some extent, COVID effort in India was successful as compared to other countries. Okay, though there was second wave which was quite damaging, but overall if you see, it was quite successful as compared to others. So in this way we can say that cooperative federalism, it has played a really important role in, you can say, in a fighting spirit in fighting against the COVID-19. Okay, this is what it is about. Now other news: satellite launched by SSLV is in wrong orbit and not usable. Okay, so it was supposed to be there in the circular orbit, but it has been put in the elliptical orbit. Okay, so this is how it is. This is elliptical orbit and this is the circular orbit. So those, you can say, satellites were supposed to be there in the circular orbit around the earth, but they have been put in the elliptical orbit, and due to this mistake, you can say this mission is a failure. And already some announcements have been made that committee has been formed to look into the findings, like what led to this particular problem, exactly ऐसा हुआ क्या, ठीक है ना? So this is what this committee will inquire into. Now, other news on this page is related to only 3 IPS officers opt for central deputation. Okay, so you need to understand one thing, like how does the system work? Now, IPS officer, IAS officer, Indian Forest Service officer. Okay, service officer, they all formed All India Services. How does this work? Now they are recruited by the union. Okay, their recruitment is done by union. We know that UPSC selects them, okay, but they work under different state governments, work under different, you can say, state governments, and they have a different state cadre. So you have different state cadre as well, okay, and they will be working in that state cadre. So if there is a Haryana cadre officer, he will be working in Haryana. The Punjab cadre officer, he will be working in Punjab. So you have that arrangement of different cadre, and this is how the system is working. Okay, this is how the system is working. So those who are saying that screen is not clear, please do change the setting in your phone. So please do change the setting in your phone. Okay, now they are different, means different state cadre is there, but union also needs officers. So you need officers to be positioned in IB, raw, okay, and many other agencies. So they have this deputation system, that officers from the state, they will be allowed to work with union on deputation on a fixed number of years. For a fixed number of years, they will be asked कि भी आप, you can work here, okay, you can work here, and after that, after completing their deputation time, they will again go back to their, you can say, state cadre. They will again go back to their state, respective state. So this arrangement is there. Now what is the benefit of having this arrangement, that is having this tenure system, or you can say this idea of deputation? Why this idea of deputation has been introduced? So idea, the reason is this, that they will bring the ground level data, okay, when they will be working in union. So those officials, they will be coming from state, and in this way they will bring ground level reality, ground level information to the union, so that the decision making in union can be rational. They will have their own experience of different states. There will be different officials from different states, okay. So in this way they will bring their ground level, you can say, information, and that information will be used in policy making. Now this is one part. When this is being done, okay, after completion of service, so suppose say some officer is there for 2 years of deputation. Now after completion part, after completion of that 2 year part, they will again go back to their state, and while working in state, they will have their experience of working in union. That experience will be there to improve the administration at the state level, okay, improve the admin at the state level. Now this is the basic idea behind this deputational system. So it's a really good system. This is the rational argument to this. But here there is a news which is saying that now officials are not even applying for central deputation. They are not applying for it. So this is how the things are. This is how the things are at present. This is not a, you can say, right trend. This is not a right trend. And other than that, we also know this part, that recently government changed all India services rules, okay. Those changes were made, and now after the change of those rules, union can ask them to compulsorily serve. It can ask some of the officers to come and serve. So this is the new change, this is the new development, which was considered to be, you can say, against the federalism, okay. When this idea was, you can say, carry forward by the government, it was considered to be against the, you can say, uh, idea of federalism, okay. So here cheetah reintroduction, NBA chief dismisses concerns. So cheetah will be, you can say, introduced in Kuno Palpur National Park, Madhya Pradesh, okay. So this is important for your prelims. You can note it down, because already a question has been asked related to that, okay. इस पे question already in prelims, the question has been asked by UPSC, so we need to know this. So this Kuno Palpur National Park, it is basically located in the Madhya Pradesh. Okay, now this is the homework that I am giving you. So you have to tell me about the vegetation of this particular national park, okay, which is located in Madhya Pradesh. So you have to tell me about the vegetation and the other species that are found there. So other species कौन सी यहाँ पे मिलती हैं? So we need to be very clear about it, because cheetah survives in a specific, you can say, environment, in a specific vegetation. So it is really important that we need to know about these things. So here we are. Now we'll move to the next part. आगे चलते हैं. So here there are, you can say, there is nothing much. So here directly we'll move to the editorial section. Okay, so this question, this editorial is pointing towards whether in India we have a true sense of democracy. Okay, true sense of democracy. This question has been raised here. Now you need to understand, first of all, what do you understand by democracy? Most of us are confused by electoral democracy. Okay, now electoral democracy is just one part of it. So you may have to facilitate social democracy. Okay, you may have to facilitate democracy in the terms of economic terms. Those are also the additional component. Electoral democracy precisely means that political democracy. Okay, so here in India we do have a political democracy, but when it comes to having equality in the society, having, you can say, increasing the income for the people, definitely these particular components are missing or appear to be missing. So we need to be very, you can say, concerned about these things, because just having elections after 5 years doesn't, you can say, assure us a true sense of democracy. This is what this debate is about. Okay, and there is another debate attached to this. Now if you look into the constitutional morality, constitutionalism, the idea is this: how the constitution is being implemented. How are we implementing our constitution? Whether we are implementing our constitution in letter and spirit, can you say so? Okay, so you have to understand, our constitution will say we have to be secular, but we know that, like regular, there are communal riots in this country, and your government, your administration struggles to handle that. So it means that somehow this idea of constitution might not be having its, you can say, presence to full extent, पूरे तरीके से नहीं present. Okay, other point is this, other point is this is just one aspect. Okay, the other point, you can say, free and fair election. Free and fair election. Now we know that in our elections there is use of muscle power, money power. So you can't say that in true sense we are having a democracy. Okay, so these are shortfalls in our system. ये सारे shortfalls हैं हमारे system के अंदर. So here this editorial is pointing towards the same thing, that it's been 75 years now. We should introspect whether we have been completely successful in dealing with the problems that we had after the, you can say, independence. So there were a whole lot of problems, and we need to understand one thing, like whether we were successful in dealing with them or not. This is the aspect that we have to understand. Okay, now, like on the economic terms, we have not been succeeded. Okay, this is quite real, but because still after 75 years illiteracy is there. Okay, income is still less, so poverty is still there to some extent, to minor extent, it is still present. So it shows that on the economic front we might not be able to, you can say, might not have been able to achieve our targets. But when it comes to democratic, you can say, process and values, it appears that we have a stable, you can say, electoral democratic process. Okay, electoral democratic process, if you see, we have been quite successful. We have a stable system. The change of regime is quite peaceful. Okay, so there is no issues after election. If there is change in government, it is done in a peaceful manner. So this is how things are there. Now the idea of democracy is about government by discussion. That is, you have to promote tolerance, discussion, debate within the society. There have to be a participatory part that people have to play in that. That's the true sense of democracy, whether people are taking interest in the governance or not, okay, whether your government is providing them platform or not. Those components are also important as part of democracy. So this is how it is. Now, major outcome of democracy is this, that we end up empowering the individuals, okay, that we empower individuals, and it's a really good thing. It's a really good thing that we are empowering individuals, okay. Without citizen empowerment, we cannot say that we are heading towards democracy, okay. You cannot seriously say that कि आप democracy की तरफ जा रहे हो. So here this is one of the important component. Now in our society we do have issues like caste based, gender based discrimination, okay. So if those sort of discriminations are still going on in our system, then we outrightly cannot say that this is truly, you can say, democratic thing. Now they are less nourished, less educated, have a representation in the institution of governance for lower than their share of population. While they participate equally in election, they are denied a place at the higher table of governance. Okay, this is another type of problem. So you may have women participation in your electoral system. First of all, their presence in the higher policy making areas, specifically if you talk about say bureaucracy, or say you can say your parliament, your legislature, their presence is quite limited. Their presence is quite limited. Now with that limited presence, definitely, definitely, you can say we cannot say we are being truly democratic, because half of your population is underrepresented in the power making, policy making, you can say, units, okay, as well as you can get it from the labor force participation, that their participation is quite less. And like it is quite, you can say, prevalent in India. If you compare it with the other countries, in our countries the participation of women in the labor force is quite less, okay. So this is really very alarming, that 50% of your population is underrepresented. So we need to do this thing, because this shows that somehow we are lagging behind in the democratic aspect, specifically the economic related things. Then there are regional differentiations that are existing in this country. Now if you talk about investment, you talk about human resource development, etc, 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 specifically we say there is north south divide, okay, north south divide, west east divide. Now northern part, they have lot of these issues, human development, etc, 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 they are quite you can say poor, specifically in UP, Bihar, okay, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh. Things are not, you can say, bright. Things are not bright. Now in the same way, west part of India, you can say Gujarat, Maharashtra, they are quite prosperous as compared to the east part of India. So this divide is existing, this regional divide is existing. Again, when you have, you can say, lack of equality, lack of equal growth in these particular areas, we can outrightly say that there is some issue in this, okay. बिल्कुल हम बोल सकते हैं कि वाकई ही कोई कमी है यहाँ पे, ठीक है ना. So this is a major thing here. Now regional differentiations, they are existing. Niti Aayog report is pointing out. Now you can use this thing in your answer as a fact. You can refer to the Niti Aayog report in your answers. So you can point out this thing, that Niti Aayog says that like multidimensional poverty in Bihar to be over 50%. Okay. Means it is quite high. It is quite high. While in Kerala it is just 1%. So you have two different states governed by, you can say, bureaucracy, which is simultaneously trained. All of them are trained in Lal Bahadur Shastri Academy, okay. But there are some differences that are existing. Either problem is within the political class itself, then, okay, priorities for the state. So as these states are backward, Bihar is one of the, you can say, underdeveloped area, it also impact the social upliftment of that area. So it is found states which are not doing economically well, they will face issues related to social transformation. Caste system is still prevalent, okay. Patriarchy is still quite prevalent in those particular parts. Never, you can say, there are states like Kerala and Tamil Nadu, These states must have done really good when it comes to economic parameter, but still these states are facing the issues related to patriarchy, caste system. Okay, so in this way you can say the democratic aspect of Indian system is somehow either missing or is not complete. Entirely we cannot claim that we are truly democratic, because these differences are existing, these are inequalities that are existing in the system. So till the time we deal with these things, we cannot claim that we are truly democratic in a sense. So this is what you have to understand here. Okay, now there is another editorial associated with, you can say, sand mining. Now this is a major issue, sand mining, because recently one, you can say, HCS Haryana DSP, he lost his life. Okay, few years back, there was this incident in Madhya Pradesh where an IPS officer, he lost the life. Okay, so this is how it is a serious thing here in India. So there are some concerns. There are some concerns that we have to look into this. Okay. So whosoever is having the doubt, I will address your doubt at the end of the session. Now, major concern, we have to deal with it. So tapping technology to check minor mineral plunder. Okay, tapping technology to check the minor mineral plunder. This is what they are talking about. So they are saying that we have to find solution. It comes to technology. So basically they are talking about using the satellite based system. Okay, that you use the satellite technology to basically at least have some pictures. Okay, have some pictures that can be analyzed to look into if there is sand mining going on or not. So it is quite possible. Okay, so these days satellite images are available and we need to use that. That's the smarter way of dealing with things. So this is what they are suggesting. Now this editorial is pointing towards this thing, that in India we are grossly underestimating the issue of illegal mining. So one thing is for sure, that it damages your ecology. Okay, it damages the same marine life as well, and like along with that, it is also developing into loss of revenue for the state. Okay, loss of revenue for the state. Now they have come out with the example that Bihar annually, now Bihar is a state which need money. Okay, it's an underdeveloped state, so they need money. So annually Bihar loses somewhere around 700 crore. Okay, because of illegal sand mining. And this statistics is also saying that majorly illegal sand mining is more prevalent. So they are coming out with example of UP. They are saying that 70% of mining in UP is done illegally. Okay, and only 30% is coming from the legal system. So this idea has been suggested. Okay, now they are pointing towards few things. So they are saying that, like, we need to develop ourselves, and as the pace of development is increasing. Okay, as the pace of development is increasing, definitely the requirement for these things are also going to increase. Okay, requirement is also going to increase. Now India is the second largest extractive, you can say, means this is the second largest extractive industry on planet. The first is that you extract water. Okay, after water extraction, this is this mining, sand mining and all, it is the second largest extractive industry on the planet. We do have laws, we do have monitoring mechanisms that are in place, but still it is going on. So rampant illegal sand mining is still prevalent in India, not only, you can say, in India, in other parts of the world as well. Now one student is asking, sir, how it damages the marine thing. So first of all, you need to understand, like, this sand mining is not just being carried out in riverbeds. Okay, not just in riverbeds, but even in the oceans as well, this sand mining is being done. There it destroys the life of fishes which are dependent on that area. Okay, it may create problem where fishes may not be able to find adequate food. So the growth of mangroves will be impacted. तो मैंग्रोव्स की ग्रोथ भी यहाँ पे इम्पैक्ट हो सकती है. So this is how in this way it can create a damage to the area. Now, like there is an issue of regulation here. Okay, so unlike the major minerals, the regulatory and the administrative power to frame rules, prescribe rate of royalty, mineral concession are entrusted exclusively to the state governments. Please note it down. This is important for your prelims. Very, very important. Why I am saying this? Because if you observe, UPSC is asking this type of questions. Okay, and they did ask a question on sand mining. So you need to understand on the issues related to sand mining, union government is not going to frame laws, rather the rules regulations will be framed by your state government. So we need to be very, you can say, clear about it. Okay, now we do have a provision of environment impact assessment. Okay, it clearly mentions that you need to carry out compulsory, you can say, environment impact assessment before carrying out your mining idea. आप माइनिंग करने से पहले एनवायरमेंट इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट करो. इवन द सुप्रीम कोर्ट हैज बीन वेरी क्लियर अबाउट इट. ओके, they have been very clear about it and instructed the, you can say, legislature to make some changes in the regulatory framework. Whatever changes that are required, make those changes. This is what Supreme Court of India has instructed. Now, despite these instructions, things are not being implemented. Okay, so environment impact assessment were amended in 2016. The amendment provided for setting up of district environment impact assessment authority and district expert appraisal authority. Now again, this fact is really very important for prelims, that it is under the environment impact assessment legislation, okay, notification, that district environment impact assessment authority has to be framed, as well as district expert appraisal committee has to be formed. So these points need to be known to you. This is again important for your prelims. You can note it down separately. Okay, now there are some observations regarding this particular sand mining thing in India. So as per the UN environment program in 2019, India ranked, you can say, India and China, they were the top two countries where illegal sand mining is going on. And despite you can say, being mentioned about these particular developments, no effort have been made by our government. We are seriously lagging behind in dealing with this crisis. Okay, so here is one fact, that in Narmada river basin, because of sand mining, the population of mashir fish, it went down significantly. It has been reduced significantly here. So this doesn't just damages the environment. Illegal mining also cause loss to the state exchequer. So as there are facts that royalty and all that the state government might have collected from these sand mines, those things will be devoid. State will not get any revenue out of this, as it is the illegal, you can say, mining thing. So here this solution has been suggested, that we need to come out with the use of technology where we assess how the mining has been going on in different parts of different states, and we need to have that, we can use the satellite imagery for that. Okay, so for 10 to 15 years, past 15 years, you can have that satellite imagery with you and you can easily look into those things. Okay, you can have the assessment that, okay, in the past what damage has been done, in future how are we going to deal with that. Those assessments, those things can be made by you. So this is what it is about. Okay, so we'll move to the next part now. Here there is nothing much. Before moving to the next part, let me address some of the doubts. Okay, so Mr. Srinath Reddy is asking this thing, sir, don't central ministers change for every 2.5 years in some states? No, it is not like that. Okay, it is not like that. Sakshi Gupta, sir, does IFS officer doesn't come in all India service? IFS is Indian Foreign Service. No, they are not part of, you can say, all India services. Okay, all India services are three entities: IAS, IPS, and Indian Forest Service officers. Okay, so this is what this whole idea is about. Now we'll move to the next part, judging the fudging of data. Okay, so this is really important here. Now, data, how accurate your data is. If your data is accurate, definitely your policy making, policy quality will be good. Your policy quality will be good. Okay, this is what it is about. This is what it is about. ये पॉइंट आपको समझना पड़ेगा, ठीक है ना. This is what it is about. Okay, so that's why we are emphasizing on having data that is need to be correct. So you need to have some arrangements how we are handling the data. How we are handling data, that is really very critical. So in governance as well, we need to have some arrangement regarding the data keeping, that okay, how records are being handled and those things. This is what it is about. So other than that, there is nothing much on this page. Now we'll move to the next part. Next part we are looking into the Supreme Court Collegium. Okay, so Collegium at present has this arrangement. So you will have a CJI of India, Chief Justice of India. Along with that, 4 senior most Supreme Court judges. They form this collegium and collectively they take decision. They take decision regarding who is to be recommended to High Court, who is to be recommended to Supreme Court, then their transfers as well. Okay, it's not in the Supreme Court, means in the High Court, transfers as well. This is what this collegium look into. Now the point is this: some doubts have been raised over the working of collegium, that it is opaque. Okay, it is opaque. There is no transparency in the working of collegium. On what basis judges are shortlisting the candidates, on what basis selections are made, there is no clarity on that. Okay, there is no clarity on that. ठीक है ना? This is the point here. Okay, this is the point here. So Sakshi, I guess you are not reading the newspaper properly then. The first country is China. It is written over there, right next to India and China are there, na? So I just mentioned it. Okay, you are missing the point. Please pay attention. So opaque, transparency. It means that transparency is lacking here. Now the point is this. The point is this here. You need to have system which is not opaque. At least some transparency is there, because people have this right on what basis the selections are being made. Okay. Now there was this idea of NJAC that was proposed, and this National Judicial Appointment Commission was formed, but it was declared to be unconstitutional. It was declared to be unconstitutional. Okay. And that was the thing here, because judiciary didn't want executive to interfere at all. They want zero interference from the executive here. And it was a really serious thing. It was a really serious thing. So this is what this editorial is looking into, that you have this collegium system which is having CJI, 4 senior most judges. They make recommendations for the appointment to the apex court, that is Supreme Court and the High Courts. Okay, this is what it looks into. And this whole thing, CJI and the judges of Supreme Court, they are appointed by the president. Recommendations are made by collegium, but final appointment is being done at the level of president itself. Okay, under the clause 2 of article 124 of the constitution. Now appointment to the office of CJI should be of senior most judge of Supreme Court. So basically the point is this: it is not written in the constitution that the senior most judge of the Supreme Court is, you can say, considered for the office of CJI. The point is this: this is the convention. Okay, this is the convention that has emerged. This is the convention that has emerged over the years. So the point is this: it is really very critical to look into the shortfalls of judges that we have in this country. So if you look into the High Court, now 37% vacancy is there. Okay, definitely as the posts are lying vacant, you will have, you can say, pendency of cases. Now number of pending cases has been increasing, specifically in the Supreme Court. So today 71,000 cases are pending in Supreme Court. In High Courts, this number is in lakh. Nearly 60 to 70 lakh cases are pending in High Court. So this is really a high number here. Okay, so the present, you can say, collegium under Justice Ramanna, it has been quite successful, as they have been able to, you can say, facilitate appointment of 9 judges, okay, in the Supreme Court and as well as in the High Court. So it's a really good thing. So the other Chief Justice that are going to be there, we should also look into these aspects. Okay. Now this collegium system, basic idea, it developed because of the friction between judiciary and the executive. This friction was that who has the final say? Okay, who has the final say? That's the point. So, in the constitution, it is written that appointments should be done in consultation. Okay, in consultation. Now, first of all, after these judgments, after these Supreme Court judgments, it is saying that consultation precisely means concurrence. Okay, concurrence means whatever that collegium is saying, whatever Chief Justice is saying, they have to admit it. It is not recommendatory. Compulsorily they have to accept those recommendations. Okay, so this is one thing here. It means consultation. Now, other thing that was highlighted, that this consultation on concurrence doesn't precisely means CJI only. Along with him, other judges should also be consulted. Okay, he is not alone there. He is not alone there. So this is how these cases have evolved. So basically, three judges cases, they have evolved this collegium system. So you have this first judge case. The court held that consultation with CJI should be full and effective. The second judge says that there should be a collegium system. Okay, it ruled that the CGI would have to consult collegium of two senior most judges. Then there was further third judge case where this particular idea of collegium was extended to CGI and four of the senior most judges. CGI and the four of senior most judges. Okay, so basically it is CGI plus 4, that is 5 judges. Defense Yoda, it's a 5 judges. This is the idea. Okay, this idea was proposed. Now, at present, appointment of CGI and other judges, they are governed by memorandum of procedure. Though this memorandum of procedure was signed between, you can say, judiciary and you can say the government. Okay, that here are some of the instructions that are to be followed. That memorandum of procedure is existing. But despite that, there are delays, regular delays, though things have improved a lot in the recent time. Okay, earlier there used to be a major delay, बहुत ज़्यादा delay होता था, ठीक है जी. So here CGI and the judges of Supreme Court, they are appointed by the president under, you can say, Article 124 of the Constitution. Okay, and CGI as convention, you can say it is the senior most judge of Supreme Court. Other than that, like it is also being you can say looked into this, that at the appropriate time CGI will recommend the you can say his successor. So it is just you can say own paper activity, because already it is being decided कि भी क्या होगा. Okay, so this is what it is about. This is what it is about. Now, once recommends the law ministers forward communication, PM would advise the president on the appointment. Okay, so this is how it is being done. 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 Okay, now next news that we will be looking into, is this Great Barrier Reef recovery and vulnerability. Recently, we should be very happy that Great Barrier Reef, which is like world's biggest, largest coral reef system, which is located in Australia, okay, it has recovered. It has recovered. Now, these are corals, and they are very sensitive to temperature change. And we have seen it because of climate change. They are more vulnerable. Their vulnerability has increased significantly. So this is what is about. Okay, now these things are mentioned in detail. As you know, corals are marine invertebrates or animals which do not possess a spine. Okay, they are the largest living structures on the planet. So all these things are important for your prelims. You have to note it down. Each coral is called a polyp, and thousands of such polyps live together to form a colony, which grows when polyps multiply to make copies of themselves. Okay, so basically, this is the idea that is existing. Now, the color to these particular, you can say, corals is primarily because of the algae that is present, a form of algae that is present on them. Okay, so it is basically a symbiotic relationship that they will help each other, they are helping each other. So primarily corals are of two types, that is hard coral and the soft coral. So hard coral extract chemical carbonate from the seawater to build hard and white coral exoskeleton. Hard corals, in a way, the engineers of reef ecosystem. So it is primarily on this hardness, the other, you can say, coral and other species, they live, they are dependent. Okay, soft coral attach themselves to such skeletons, and older skeletons build to their ancestors. So in this way, this is how layer after layer the coral colony will be formed. Now, there are issues that are there are a lot of, you can say, challenges that are there to this coral and how they can be damaged. So besides the predatory attack, tropical cyclone, okay, it is one of the biggest threat to the health of the reef. Now heat stress, that is change in climate, resulting in coral bleaching. Okay, the color will evade. Now corals have this symbiotic relationship with single-celled algae called zooanthellae. Zooanthellae is an algae which survives on coral, and it's a symbiotic relationship. Okay, together they stay, together they stay, and this is how the whole system is built. This is how they exist simultaneously. Okay, now as these corals, they are exposed to heat stress, pollution, etc., ocean acidity, zooanthellae start producing reactive oxygen species, means they start moving out of those colonies. Okay, now we also know that carbon dioxide, now carbon dioxide, if carbon dioxide number is increasing, amount is increasing, it means that their absorption in ocean is also increasing. Okay, so their absorption in ocean will also increase, and that will make the ocean water more acidic. As the ocean water will become more acidic, corals will be under damage. Okay, they will be under threat. So this is what you have to understand here. Now coral kicks out the color giving algae from their polyp. As I told you, as soon as they are, you can say, exposed to climate change, Asiatic, or you can say acidic water and other things, so they will give up their algae, and in this way the corals will lose their color. So over the time, these corals who are dependent on the algae for food production, they will starve over the time. They will destroy over the time. This is what it is about. This idea of coral bleaching. Now, revival from the bleaching stage is possible. Okay, that those algae which are moving out, they can come back. They can come back. So to that extent, it is possible. To that extent it is possible, and this is what is happening in this Great Barrier Reef right now. So basically those corals who went away, now they are back. Okay, so it's a really good sign, it's a really good sign here. Other than that, there is another, you can say, angle to this. Why are regulators swooping down on stable coins? Now you need to understand, whenever we are talking about cryptocurrency, okay, one thing we pointed out, that these cryptocurrency, they have means price fluctuation. Okay, and they are not attached with the assets, means you can't make anyone liable. It is just a computer program that is existing. Now many countries, they are coming out with the regulations, okay, for the operation of these cryptocurrencies, and that led to the, you can say, emergence of stable coin. Now unlike the other cryptocurrencies, stable coin has, you can say, a backed asset. इसको बनाने से पहले इसके पीछे backed asset attached होती है, ठीक है ना. There are rules and regulations that are followed. Okay, there is a proper process. So the exchange that are working, the institutions that are working on these particular, you can say, units, they are held liable. Okay, they are held liable, they are made responsible for these. So in this way, this stable coin has provided, you can say, a breathing space to the technology. Okay, it's a really good thing. It's a really good thing that we are, you can say, developing these ideas. Otherwise, unregulated cryptocurrency is not desirable at all. Unregulated cryptocurrency is not desirable at all. So from that aspect, from that thing, it is a good development. Okay. Now, other than that, here we have other news, that is husbands of elected women take oath in MP Panchayat. Now this is the sad state. So friends, you have Article 243 of Indian Constitution. Okay, and we know that we have 73rd and 74th Amendment Act. Together they facilitated minimum 33% reservation. Okay, reservation for women in Panchayat. But at present as well, due to the patriarchal setup that is existing, here is the picture in front of you, that instead of women elected leaders taking oath, their husbands were taking oath. And this is a very, you can say, popular concept of panchayat pati, sarpanch pati. Okay, this is quite popular. This is quite popular. ठीक है ना? So we should know about these things. Okay, we should know about these things. There is a very famous, you can say, series as well. Okay, एक बहुत अच्छी series भी आई थी इसी concept के ऊपर, and it's on Amazon Prime, so you can watch it. So this is how this whole thing is existing, and it's a sad state of the system, because we'll try our level best to, you can say, evade whatever rules that are there. Now if the reservation related arrangement has been made, so these things are emerging. Okay, like husbands of elected women, they are taking oath. Now this is one of the major problem. Okay, major problem. And it is a problem for the social development as well, because we have seen it in the past, wherever you have women sarpanch, active women sarpanch, those villages have done really well when it comes to social parameters. Okay, so here this is a, you can say, sad state that these panchayat patis were present and taking oath. So we have to improve this. You have to encourage women to take her rights in her own hands. Okay, this is what we have to do here. Other than that, there is nothing much. Now India begins cooperation with the combined maritime forces. Okay, so some of the modalities have been done. So combined maritime forces, now India and US, they will be working together. Okay, so this is what the idea is about. And here we have first US Navy ship in India for repair and all. Okay, so you should know this. We have signed Logistics Exchange Memorandum of Agreement, that is LIMOA, with United States. Under this, there you can say ships, their vessels, they can use the Indian ports. Now here there is a US ship which is there in Indian, you can say, naval base for the reparation and other things. Okay, so this is how the whole idea is about. And other than that, there is nothing much. Okay, on this particular page कुछ खास नहीं है यहाँ पे. And here as well, mobile net off in Manipur after riots. Now these areas are very sensitive. Okay, very sensitive areas with different tribal affiliation, so they do have clashes with each other. ठीक है ना? Other than that, there is nothing much. कुछ खास नहीं है यहाँ पे. Okay, and here there is again nothing much. So policemen block a road during restrictions imposed to stop Muharram procession in Srinagar. Some of the restrictions were brought in by the government. Okay, and here there is nothing much. Center mum on availability and requirement of the key leprosy drug. Okay, so here you need to tell me one thing. This is the homework, that this leprosy is the, you can say, disease infected by what? Bacteria, virus, fungi, okay, or protozoa. So you have to tell me leprosy कैसे होता है. ठीक है ना? So this is what is the news is about. So according to the World Health Organization, India is having 66% of the leprosy patient in the world. India is considered as the leprosy capital of the world here. Okay, so it is really very alarming that we need to work upon these things. Now doctors says that clofazimine is one of the 3 essential drugs used in this multi-drug treatment of this leprosy, along with rifamycin and डेप्सन. So these three things should be known to you. ठीक है जी, ये आपको याद रखनी है, important for your prelims. ठीक है, क्लोफाजिमाइन, रेफाम्सिन, डेप्सन. These three are important. Okay, these three are important. Now under National Leprosy Eradication Program, the government has been ensuring a steady supply of monthly blister packs, okay, of these drugs for 12 months to the patient. But here we are talking about shortage of क्लोफाजिमाइन. ये कहीं ना कहीं क्लोफाजिमाइन आपके यहाँ पे शॉर्टेज में चल रहा है. That's a bit alarming thing here. Now what happens is this: if the dose is not available, okay, if the dose is not available, then seriously it is a sad state, because you cannot eradicate this particular this leprosy problem. Okay, we do have to, you can say, improve the system. There are reports where these doses have been provided as damaged or misplaced. This is what is about. So seriously, these are concerns that we have to look into. Other than that, there is nothing much on this. Okay, those three doses, you have to note it down. You should know them, which all vaccines, which all doses are available. Okay, other than that, there is nothing much. Now China continues drill in Taiwan Strait. Things are really, you can say, heated up now. Taiwan is also working on its defenses. Okay, and we have to see whether US will directly intervene or not. US will definitely have some presence. You cannot rule out the presence of United States from the Taiwan Strait. They will have some presence there. Okay, so this is how things are now. Chinese envoy meet Renil on the ship's Hambantota visit. Okay, so it is being considered as a spy ship, and this is the major concern for India. Okay, if these things continue, a spy ship near the Indian coast is seriously alarming. Okay, so here, like, these discussions will be conducted. We have to yet wait and watch what will be the outcome of those discussions. Other than that, there is nothing much. Okay, on this particular page, IAEA raises alarm over strikes at nuclear plant in Ukraine. Okay, so Ukraine, like, again, nuclear plant was damaged because of the Russian attack. So this is what this whole idea is about. So there is another news, that is Wang Yi thanks Bangladesh on backing one China policy. Now what is this one China? So here you have a China, that is Beijing, okay, ruled by Beijing, that is Communist Party of China. Then you have area like Taiwan, okay, which is having a democratic system. Then you have Macau. Now Macau is also an island. Macau has a different system, a sort of autonomy or democracy. In the same way, Hong Kong is also having sort of, you can say, autonomy. So China says that if you want relations with us, okay, China says that if you want relations with us, you want sort of diplomatic relations, then you have to consider these things as one, okay, these things as one single entity. That you can't have diplomatic relations with all these, you can say, players separately. That separate diplomatic relations with, say, Taiwan, separate for Macau, separate for, you can say, Hong Kong. You cannot have that. This is what China says its one China policy is about. And as China is a, you can say, powerful country because of the economic and other, you can say, influences that China has, the whole world listens to China and they respect this one China policy. This is what this is about. But right now, as the differences are going on between China and Taiwan, so the world appears to be divided. You never know. Like country like India, we are in a dilemma. There are security experts who will say that India should have full-fledged relation with Taiwan. हमें अपना diplomatic relation बनाना चाहिए ताइवान के साथ. Today we don't have a full-fledged relationship with Taiwan. We have just one visa office in Taiwan. Okay, having a visa office in Taiwan is one thing. Having a embassy in Taiwan is other thing. We don't have a working embassy in Taiwan because we don't have full-fledged diplomatic relations with Taiwan. Rather, we have just one visa office that is operational from there. Okay, so this is what the idea of one China policy is about. This is what the idea of one China policy is about. Okay, so I hope these sessions are adding value to your preparation. That's it for the day then. Thank you very much. One more thing. So for your queries related to preparation, you can connect with me on this number. Okay, so thank you very much. You can WhatsApp me, and that's it for the day. Okay, that's it for the day. Thank you very much.